Hello and welcome to issue number 2 of Random Comic Review. And this month we're taking a look at Man from Atlantis number 5 from June 1978, published by Marvel Comics, with a cover price of just 35 cents. This issue is written by Bill Mantlo, with art by Frank Robbins and Frank Springer. The cover artist is Pablo Marcos. This comic book is an adaptation of the television series Man from Atlantis, a science fiction series that aired on NBC in the late 1970s. Man from Atlantis started as 4 television films that did well enough for NBC to order a series of 13 episodes for the 1978 TV season. The series starred Patrick Duffy, several years before he would become a household name, starring as Bobby Ewing in the primetime soap opera Dallas. Duffy plays an amnesiac man that was found washed up on shore and given the name Mark Harris. Mark exhibits abilities such as enhanced strength, the ability to breathe underwater, and webbed hands and feet that give him extraordinary swimming ability. The series co-starred Belinda J. Montgomery as Dr. Elizabeth Merrill and Alan Fudge as C.W. Crawford, both of whom worked for the Foundation for Oceanic Research. Each week, Mark and his team would explore the mysteries of the ocean depths in a submarine called the Cetacean. During the course of the series, the team encountered all manner of sci-fi tropes, including aliens, sea monsters, time travel, and alternate dimensions. In 1978, Marvel created the comic book adaptation of the primetime series, which lasted just 7 issues. Marvel was no stranger to adapting sci-fi properties in the late 1970s, having created comics for Planet of the Apes, Logan's Run, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Battlestar Galactica, and of course, Star Wars. We start off with a dynamic image for the cover done by Pablo Marcos. This issue, the return of Scorba, the Ray of Red Death. Here on the splash page, we see something that was very common in 1970s Marvel Comics. It's the blurb at the top of the page, giving you a condensed origin for the character in the series. If you were a new reader jumping on, like I was in the 70s, those little blurbs were very helpful just to give you an overview of what you were reading. So this one reads, "Journey with us below the ocean surface to a place of darkness and eternal silence, where man cannot go without his protective technology. A vast alien place in which countless secrets are hidden, countless mysteries unsolved. It was in this aquatic otherworld that Mark Harris was born." Stan Lee presents Man from Atlantis. We have the credits on the top, the writer Bill Mantlo, who would go on to do very memorable runs on the Micronauts, Rom Space Knight, and the Incredible Hulk. And Frank Robbins was the penciler. Frank had a long career with Marvel as both a writer and an artist. He's probably best known for penciling the World War II era team, The Invaders, as well as a comic based on the real-life stuntman called The Human Fly. And on the first page, we jump right into the action. Chapter 1, A Modern Master of the World. A little literary reference to H.G. Wells there. And right off, we see one of the big disconnects between sci-fi television shows of the 1970s and the comic book adaptations of them. The comic books were much more exciting and dynamic than the TV shows. TV shows were working with limited budgets and, of course, the special effects of the time, so you could do a lot more in comics to make these properties seem more exciting than they were on TV. So if you read the comics and then watched the TV show, you may have been a little disappointed in the show. So we have Mark diving into the water to try to find out who's attacking them. And the Man from Atlantis really didn't have a costume. Patrick Duffy throughout the series wore the same pair of yellow shorts. And that's what Mark is wearing in his comic book appearance as well. And here's another great splash page, and you can see again the disconnect between the comics and the television show. There was never anything that exciting like this giant red manta ray ship on the television show, but you can do anything in comics. So this is the unknown enemy who is bombing the Foundation for Oceanic Research, and you can see the Foundation right there. And Mark exclaims, "Great Neptune, what is it?" Pretty sure he stole that catchphrase from Aquaman, but I guess it's not trademarked. Now, one thing you'll see in old newsstand comics like this are the huge number of ads that were in the comic. For the most part, half the comics back then were ads. You'd get 2 story pages, then 2 pages of ads, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to look at every single ad in this issue. I'll just go through the highlights. Like this page here, which is an ad for the official Star Wars fan club. So if you sent in that coupon with your $5 membership fee, you would get back a 20 by 28 color poster, a heat transfer for a t-shirt, embroidered jacket patch, self-stick color decal, Star Wars book cover, newsletter, membership card, 8 by 10 color photo, and a wallet size photo. My goodness, in 2023 that would be a HasLab. So if anyone's watching this of a certain age, did you send in for the official Star Wars fan club kit? And was it worth the $5? Back to the action, we have Air Force jets coming in to attack the Red Ray, but the Red Ray escapes unharmed, but it does drop a film canister, which just so happens to fall at Mark Harris's feet. Pretty good aim there. So apparently that whole attack was for the purpose of sending a message via that film canister. Seems a bit excessive. And I skipped over another 2 pages of ads to get us back to the action. And here's the Foundation Director, C.W. Crawford, with a ridiculous number of phones around him that he's all trying to answer at once, trying to give and get information at the same time. He gets frustrated and throws all the phones against the wall, which doesn't seem helpful. So Mark brings him the film canister and they play the film. And it turns out the videotape shows Lars Skorba, the pirate captain who almost destroyed the cetacean in his attempt to kidnap Mark. And here we have something else that was common in comic books back then, this little asterisk. When they refer to events that happened in past issues, when they referred to events that happened in previous issues, they would put that asterisk next to it, and then a little box from the editor at the bottom of the panel telling you what issue that occurred in. So apparently that happened in Man from Atlantis #1. Those were actually quite helpful as well when you were a beginning reader in comics. And here we see the villain, Lars Skorba, handsome fella, and he lays out his evil plan. Basically, he wants Mark Harris to surrender to him, or else he will turn his Red Ray loose upon the world. 2 more pages of ads. Of course, comic books were full of these type of ads back in the 70s. Apparently everyone reading a comic was a wimp back then, and they needed to bulk up their bodies and get into shape. So there were tons of ads for those type of See Your Muscles Grow booklets and the Charles Atlas program and things like that. But the more interesting ad is on this side, and it's an ad by a company called Superhero Merchandise based in New Jersey. They ran ads quite often in old comic books, and in this one they are advertising the original Star Wars figures. And Superhero Merchandise ads never showed photos of the actual toys. They always represented them with drawings. So of course the toys never actually looked like most of the drawings. But we can see here they're advertising the original 12 Star Wars figures. You can get them for $2.79 each, plus 50-cent shipping and handling, or pick 4 for $10.49, plus $1.25 shipping and handling. Oh, those were the days, weren't they? And down in the corner, we can see 3 of the original vehicles from the line. The X-Wing and TIE Fighters were both $13.95, plus $1.50 shipping and handling, and the Land Speeder was $6.95, plus 75 cents shipping and handling. Soon after, the Navy has converged around Sea Base, and we've got an admiral here saying, "We've got our boys patrolling the and lair and sea approaches to this foundation of yours, Mr. Crawford. No one will get through our ring of steel." And we have some conversation between Mark and the admiral, talking about where Skorba could be, how they're going to locate him, and they bring the admiral into the heart of the sea base. But soon after that, the sonar technician says that we've picked up a submersible approaching fast. It's Skorba, all right. He's making a mockery of your ring of steel, Admiral. And now the Red Ray rams into sea base with a frustum. That's what it sounds like when a Red Ray rams into a sea base. Frustum. Skorba's pirate goons try to net Mark, and they fail the first time. Then some more goons come out, and they hit all of Mark's companions with a stun ray. Mark reacts, and they're successful in netting him a second time. Some more ads, and the interesting one here is this ad for Wonder Bread. which offers one free Close Encounters of the Third Kind trading card in every specially marked loaf of Wonder Bread. Yes, they used to put trading cards inside bread as premium. I'm not sure if that enticed kids to eat more bread with the hopes of getting a Close Encounters trading card, but they made an attempt. Collect all 24 cards. That's a lot of bread. Mark attempts to break out of the net, but Scorba emerges from his ship and threatens to kill Mark's companions if he doesn't comply. Do as you will with me, I surrender. So Scorba clamps some sort of control collar on Mark, and they haul him into the Red Ray. The Red Ray takes off, but it is too fast for the Navy fighter planes. We are now on what appears to be the bridge of the Red Ray, with Scorba sitting on some sort of Art Deco throne, with a lady companion reclining at his side, and he refers to her as Lady Luck, and she's pouring him a drink. So Scorba's demands are that Mark serve him. In what capacity, he doesn't specify. He just wants Mark as his slave. And he gives him a little shock through that control collar just to make his point. That electric shock dehydrates and weakens Mark, and we can see here that Mark has the same weakness as most other water-based superheroes like Namor and Aquaman. He can't be away from water for that long of a time or else he weakens. So Scorba dumps his drink on him, and Lady Luck remarks, "The boy has agreed to serve you, Lars. There's no need to be cruel." "Getting soft on the manfish, Lady Luck? Well, let me remind you that I know who ye are and what ye are, and if you cross me, it won't be back to the gutter I'll be tossing ye. It'll be to the sharks." That's my pirate voice. Yeah, you like it? And here's Lars manhandling his lady companion. Bullpen Bulletins was a monthly feature in Marvel Comics that included Stan's Soapbox, which was a message from Stan Lee directly to the fans. And usually that message included Stan hyping all the latest publications from Marvel to get kids excited to buy them. Because Stan wanted to be your friend, but he also wanted to sell you something. And on this side we have a classic Hostess ad. There were dozens of these in both Marvel and DC Comics back in the 70s. Superheroes getting into silly adventures that had to do with Hostess cakes. So this one features Thor going up against Gudrun the Golden, who has stolen all the gold in Asgard. So Thor figures if Gudrun likes gold, he'll enjoy the Golden Hostess Twinkie snack cakes. So he gathers up a bunch of Twinkies to distract Gudrun, and they haul him off to Asgardian jail. All these Hostess ads were ridiculous, but there is a certain charm to them. And now the conclusion of this issue, Mark is trying to break free. The door opens and Scorba comes to get him. He sees this opportunity to make a break for it. But when he gets to the top of the ship, and the caption on this page reads, "But on the very threshold of freedom, Mark Harris stops cold, unable to believe the sight that greets his astonished eyes. And behind him, Lars Scorba laughs. For he knows from Mark's gasp that he has triumphed. For where can one escape to in hell? Welcome, manfish, to the top of the world." Apparently the Red Ray has entered some sort of lost world where we can see dinosaurs and pterosaurs and all kinds of prehistoric creatures. Now I don't know if Man from Atlantis was supposed to take place within the Marvel Universe. This could be the Savage Land, or if not, it could be just some generic lost world. That was one of the old science fiction tropes, especially in the 60s and 70s. People were always stumbling across some sort of lost world full of dinosaurs. Next issue, Latitude 90. So that's it for my look at this issue of Man from Atlantis. All in all, not a very memorable comic or TV series. Very derivative of things that had come before and that had been done better. In the late 1970s, there was a big science fiction boom on television with shows like The $6 Million Man, Space 1999, Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, and Man from Atlantis threw its hat in that ring. But after the initial 4 television films and the 13-episode first season, it was canceled. So it remains an interesting artifact of the science fiction boom of the late 70s. And if anyone's curious, Man from Atlantis is available to view for free on Tubi TV. So thanks for watching this episode of Random Comic Review, and I'll see you in the next issue.